Part 1 Commander Jake Morrison walked through the long hallway of the council station. His uniform was clean and pressed. Behind him, Ambassador Lisa Hayes checked her papers one more time. They both knew this meeting would change everything for Earth. The large doors opened in front of them. Inside was a huge room filled with alien beings from all over the galaxy. There were tall crystal creatures that glowed with different colors. There were bug-like aliens that made clicking sounds. There were reptile beings with golden eyes that watched every move the humans made. A voice filled the room. It came from a being made of pure energy held inside a glowing field. This was Speaker Zixthan, the leader of the council. He spoke in a cold tone that the translator changed into English words. "We have called you here today to discuss the actions of Earth," the speaker said. "Your colonies in the Outer Rim killed 17 ships and thousands of beings. This is not acceptable behavior." Lisa Hayes stepped forward. She kept her voice calm and professional. "The council knows that our colonies were defending themselves. Pirates attacked our people first. We followed every rule that the council gave us." A crystal alien named Thexnar spoke next. His body turned bright red with anger. "You humans are too violent. You have been in our council for only 30 years. In that short time, you have been in more fights than species who have been here for hundreds of years." Other aliens began talking and arguing. Their voices filled the room with strange sounds. Some clicked, some hummed, and some made noises that hurt human ears to hear. All of them seemed angry at Earth. The speaker raised one glowing arm. Everyone became silent. "The council has made a decision. Earth and all human colonies are no longer members of the Galactic Council. You must leave all council buildings within 72 hours. You cannot trade with council members anymore. This decision is final." Jake felt like someone had punched him in the stomach. Lisa's face went pale. For a moment, neither human could speak. Then Lisa found her voice. "You are making a terrible mistake. We have helped many of your worlds. We gave you technology and resources. We sent aid when planets needed help. We deserve better than this. The decision is final," Sixten repeated. The doors began to close behind the humans. The aliens in the room made sounds that seemed happy. They were glad to see Earth kicked out. As Jake and Lisa walked back to their ship, Jake finally spoke. "What do we do now?" Lisa looked at the closed doors behind them. Her face became hard and determined. "We go home. We tell Earth what happened. Then we show these aliens what humans can really do when nobody is holding us back." The trip back to Earth took 3 days. When they arrived, an emergency meeting was already happening. Leaders from every country and every human colony were gathered. President Daniel Cooper stood at the front of the room. His face looked tired but strong. "The Galactic Council has rejected us," President Cooper said. His voice was broadcast to every human settlement in space. "They say we are too violent, too aggressive. They say we do not fit with their peaceful ways. Maybe our history was violent, but they made one big mistake. They thought we needed them." He paused and looked around the room. "For 30 years we followed their rules. We only built small ships because they said so. We only settled on planets they approved. We paid their fees and followed their orders. That ends today." A woman named Karen Walsh stood up. She ran the Colonial Development Office. "Mr. President, without council trade, our colonies will have problems. We have over 200 worlds that need supplies from other systems. Then we will build our own trade routes," Cooper answered. "Admiral Greg Palmer, tell us about our military." The old admiral activated a holographic display. It showed all the human ships in space. "We have 347 warships. We have about 100 cargo ships that can fight if needed. The council never let us build anything bigger than a battle cruiser. They also stopped us from making better weapons. But our people have been working on secret projects." President Cooper smiled slightly. "Tell us more." "We have been studying captured pirate technology for years," Palmer said. "Some of it is better than what the council uses. We also have designs for new ships that would make council ships look like toys. We just never had permission to build them before." "You have permission now," Cooper declared. "Start building immediately." "Dr. Helen Price, what about our science programs?" A woman with gray hair stood up. She was the chief scientist for Earth. "The council only gave us basic technology. They kept the good stuff for themselves. But humans are smart. We made our own discoveries. Our computers are actually better than theirs. Our medical technology can do things theirs cannot. We also made breakthroughs in energy production that we kept secret." "Why secret?" asked a man from the Mars colony. Because the council said any new technology that was too advanced would get us punished, Dr. Price explained. We have designs for power plants that work 3 times better than anything the council has. We have weapon plans that make their guns look old. We just never use them because we were trying to be good members of their club. President Cooper's face became serious. No more holding back. I want every secret project started, every new design tested, every weapon built. If the council wants to call us aggressive, then we will show them what human determination really means. Lisa Hayes, who had just arrived from the council station, stepped forward. Mr. President, this path might lead to war. They already pushed us out, Cooper replied. As for war, we will prepare for it but hope to avoid it. But understand this clearly. Humanity will never again beg for acceptance from aliens who look down on us. We will build our own future. If they do not like it, that is their problem. The assembly voted. Almost everyone agreed to what they called the Independence Protocol. Earth and all human colonies would work together. They would share resources and technology. They would build a strong military. They would do science without limits. Humanity would make its own path among the stars. Nobody would stop them. Jake Morrison stood on a ship in orbit above Earth. He looked down at the blue planet below. He thought about what would come next. The easy path was gone. Now came the hard work of proving that humans deserved respect. All ships, he said into the radio, go to Titan shipyards. We have work to do. As the ships flew away from Earth, a new chapter of human history began. They had been thrown out and called unworthy. But humans had climbed from caves to space before. They would do it again. This time, nobody could deny them their place in the galaxy. Part 2. 3 years had passed since the Council threw Earth out. Captain Nicole Grant stood looking out a window at the Titan shipyards. What she saw amazed her. Ships were being built everywhere. Huge metal structures floated in space, each one becoming a new vessel for humanity. Pretty incredible, right? Said Chief Engineer Paul Matthews. He came to stand beside her. When I started working here, we built one ship every 6 months. Now we finish one every 3 days. Nicole pointed at a massive ship frame in the distance. It was bigger than anything else. What is that one? The Phoenix. Our first Dreadnought-class ship. She will be ready for test flights in 2 months. The Council banned Dreadnought construction. Paul smiled. We are not in the Council anymore. Admiral Palmer wants 5 more just like her by the end of the year. The design is amazing. The armor can move and change shape when attacked. The weapons can go through normal shields. The computer brain is smarter than anything we had before. A communication alert beeped. Captain Grant, please come to conference room 7 right away. Priority briefing. Nicole walked quickly to the conference room. Inside were Admiral Palmer, Dr. Helen Price, and many other important officers and scientists. She could tell something big was happening. Thank you for coming, Admiral Palmer said. What I am about to tell you is top secret. Dr. Price, please explain. The scientist turned on a holographic star map. 4 months ago, we found something strange in the Kepler 442 system. We sent probes to investigate. They discovered a network of ancient structures orbiting the 4th planet. The technology is far beyond anything the Council has. The Forerunners, said Commander Steve Hughes quietly. He was in charge of intelligence. The Council says they disappeared millions of years ago. It is not just a story, Dr. Price confirmed. The structures are real. Some of them still work. The Council does not know about them. The system is outside their territory but inside the area where we are expanding. Nicole leaned closer. What kind of technology are we talking about? From what we can tell so far, their power generation makes our best reactors look like candles. Their materials science is beyond our understanding. There appears to be a database that might contain all their scientific knowledge. Admiral Palmer stood up. His face was serious. This is our chance to leap ahead of the Council in every way. But it is also dangerous. If they find out what we are doing, they will see us as a threat. Captain Grant, you will lead the expedition. You will take a research ship with military protection. Your mission is to secure those structures and bring back everything valuable. When do we leave? In 48 hours. Choose your crew carefully. This mission could change human civilization forever. Nicole spent the next day picking her team. She chose Lieutenant Amy Phillips as her second in command. Amy was young but very smart in combat tactics. For the science team, she picked Dr. Gary Chen, who studied alien artifacts, and Dr. Linda Foster, who worked on theoretical physics and weapons. The convoy had 5 ships, the research ship Discovery, 2 frigates and 2 destroyers. As they left the Sol system, Nicole felt like they were crossing a line they could never uncross. The trip to Kepler 442 took 2 weeks through the new human hyperspace routes. When they finally arrived at the edge of the system, what they saw took their breath away. 12 enormous structures orbited the 4th planet in a perfect pattern. Each one was as big as a small moon. Their surfaces were covered with complex designs that seemed to move like liquid metal. The energy readings were off the charts, my God, whispered Amy from her station. Captain, those structures are generating enough power to run every human colony for 1,000 years. Dr. Chen, can we get closer safely? Nicole asked. The archaeologist studied his screens. The structures are scanning us, but they do not seem hostile. I am detecting what looks like a docking port on the nearest one. I recommend we move slowly. As Discovery got closer, the structure responded. Part of its surface changed shape, creating a clear entrance. Nicole made her decision. Take us in, but keep the engines ready. I want to be able to run fast if this goes wrong. The ship moved into the structure. Immediately, their computer systems went crazy. Screens flickered, then became stable. A voice filled the bridge. But it was not coming through speakers. The voice was directly in their minds. Welcome, children of Earth, we have been waiting. Nicole fought to stay calm. Who are you? We are the memory of those who came before. The Forerunners built these places to save their knowledge for worthy species that would come after them. You have been tested. You have the right qualities: curiosity, determination, the will to stand against those who would limit your potential. The Galactic Council. Nicole understood. You know about them. We know they have stopped growing. They used our simple gifts to stay in power for thousands of years. They suppress any species that might challenge them. You are the first in 1,000 years to be thrown out for showing real potential, instead of weakness. Dr. Foster's voice shook with excitement. What can you teach us? Everything, technology, science, the basic forces of the universe. But knowledge comes with responsibility. Will you use what you learn to dominate others like the Council does, or will you use it to help all who join you freely? Nicole did not hesitate. We only want to defend ourselves and build our own future. We will not become what the Council is. Then receive our gift. The structure came alive with light and energy. Information poured into Discovery's computers. Blueprints for ships that could cross the galaxy in hours. Weapons that could reshape planets. Energy sources that used the fabric of reality itself. Medical technology that could make people live forever. Manufacturing processes that could turn raw matter into anything imaginable. Dr. Chen was laughing and crying at the same time as data filled his screens. This is impossible. This is beautiful. This is going to change everything. For 3 weeks, the expedition stayed at the structures. They downloaded massive amounts of information and studied the physical technology. They found manufacturing facilities that could still make Forerunner devices, though it would take years to fully understand how to use them. When they finally left for home, Nicole knew nothing would ever be the same. Humanity had been given the keys to power that made the Galactic Council's technology look like old junk. The question now was what they would do with it. As Discovery jumped to hyperspace carrying humanity's future in its data storage, the ancient structures powered down once more. They had done their job. Now they would wait silent and patient for the next worthy species to find them, if such a species ever came. Back in the Sol system, President Cooper read Nicole's report in stunned silence. Then he smiled. It was the smile of a man who had just seen the game completely change in his favor. Start the Phoenix Initiative, he ordered. It is time to show the galaxy what humanity can really do. In the weeks that followed, human scientists worked day and night to understand the Forerunner data. Engineers began designing new ships using the alien technology. Military planners realized they now had weapons that could match anything in the galaxy. Medical researchers found cures for diseases that had plagued humanity for generations. The Council had thrown Earth out, thinking humans were too primitive and violent to be worth keeping. They had no idea they had just made the biggest mistake in galactic history. Humanity was about to rise, and nothing would stop them. Part 3, 5 years after the Council threw them out, human space looked completely different. Captain Jake Morrison, now promoted to Admiral, stood on the bridge of the Infinity. This was humanity's first true flagship built with Forerunner technology. The ship was 3 kilometers long from front to back. Its hull was made of smart matter that could change shape for different missions. The bridge was full of holographic displays and neural interfaces. The crew could control ship systems just by thinking. "Admiral, we are approaching the Frontier 7 colony," said Commander Amy Phillips. She was now his executive officer. They confirmed the Council blockade is still there. Jake looked at the tactical display. 6 Council warships surrounded the small human colony world. It was the same situation happening at a dozen systems where humans had settled before the expulsion. "Contact them," Jake ordered. The holographic display showed a Valorian commander. His crystal body glowed with different colors. "Human ship, you are in restricted space. Leave now or face the consequences. This is Admiral Morrison of the Terran Federation. Frontier 7 is a human colony with 8,000 citizens. You have no authority here. The Council decided this system is outside human territory. These colonists were told to evacuate. They refused. That makes them illegal squatters." Jake's face became hard. "Last warning. Remove your ships or we will remove them for you." The Valorian's crystal form glowed with amused colors. "You have 1 ship. We have 6. Do the math, human." "I have," Jake replied, ending the connection. "Tactical. Target their engines. Let us show them the new reality. Fire when ready." The Infinity's weapons were not lasers or plasma cannons like the Council used. They were quantum phase disruptors that existed partly outside normal space. The beams were invisible until they hit their targets. All 6 Council ships lost power at the same time. Their engines stopped working before they could even raise shields. Emergency systems struggled as the vessels went dark and began drifting in space. "Send rescue shuttles," Jake ordered. "No deaths. We are making a point, not starting a war." "Yet," Amy added quietly. Within an hour, the Council crews were safely evacuated to Frontier 7. Human salvage ships began towing the disabled vessels away. Jake recorded a message for the Council. "This is Admiral Morrison. Your blockade is lifted. Any more attempts to interfere with human colonies will get the same response. We do not want conflict, but we will defend what is ours. The choice between peace and war is yours." The message was sent across every Council communication channel. Everyone would hear it. The response came within days. On the Council station, chaos filled the halls. Speaker Zixton called an emergency meeting as reports came in from across the galaxy. Humans were breaking blockades everywhere. They were starting new colonies in unclaimed systems. They had weapons and technology that should not exist. "How is this possible?" demanded Counselor Thexnar. 5 years ago they could barely build decent starships. Now they have weapons that make our fleets useless. Director of Intelligence Kexlar appeared before the Council. He was a being made of shadows. "Our analysis suggests they found something. Possibly ancient technology. The energy signatures match nothing we have in our records." "The Forerunner sites," said Counselor Valketh of the Draken Empire quietly. "The humans found one of the old storage places." Silence fell across the chamber. Every species in the Council knew the legends. Vast stores of knowledge left by the ancient civilization that existed before them all. The Council itself was built on fragments of Forerunner technology. They had carefully controlled and rationed it to maintain power. "If humans accessed a full storage site," Valketh continued, "they could pass us within a generation. Maybe they already have." "Then we must act," Thexnar declared. "The Council cannot allow a dangerous element to threaten 2,000 years of peace." "Peace?" A new voice interrupted. The Council turned to see Ambassador Lisa Hayes. She had stayed on the station unofficially to watch Council activities. "You call it peace when you suppress any species that shows independence? When you keep your position by controlling technology? You are not invited to speak," Zixton said coldly. "I do not need an invitation anymore. I am here as a courtesy to deliver a message from President Cooper." She activated a holographic recording. Cooper's image appeared, larger than life. "To the Galactic Council, humanity has no desire for conflict, but we will not accept being controlled. We propose a summit to establish new terms. You will recognize human control over our claimed territories. In return, we will share some of our technology and establish fair trade. You have 1 week to respond. After that, we will continue our expansion with or without your approval." The recording ended. Thexnar's crystal body pulsed with angry red light. "This is blackmail." "This is negotiation," Hayes corrected. "Something you seem to have forgotten how to do. You ruled through superiority for so long that you forgot someone else might gain the advantage one day." The Council does not negotiate with expelled members, Sixthon stated. Then the Council will watch as humanity builds an empire that rivals yours, Hayes replied. Your choice. She left the chamber. The message was delivered. The Council would either adapt to reality or hold on to old ways until events forced their hand. Either way, humanity would keep rising. Back on Earth, in a secret facility beneath mountains, Dr. Helen Price worked with scientists to unlock more Forerunner secrets. They had barely started exploring the data from Kepler 442. We successfully copied the manufacturing process for smart matter, reported Dr. Gary Chen. Within a year, we can start upgrading our entire fleet. Every ship will be able to change its shape during missions. What about the medical technology? Asked Dr. Linda Foster. Amazing, Chen replied. Age reversal, disease elimination, even regrowing lost arms and legs. If we use this everywhere, we could make humans live for centuries. Price thought about what this meant. We need to be careful. The Forerunners left warnings in their data. They became so advanced that they lost touch with physical reality. Eventually, they just chose to leave this plane of existence. Is that a danger for us? Foster asked. Not yet. But it is something to remember as we keep advancing. Technology should serve humanity, not replace it. Throughout human space, change continued rapidly. New colonies were started at a rate of 3 per month. The fleet grew to over 2,000 ships, each more advanced than the last. Trade networks connected human worlds, creating an economy that rivaled the Council's in production, if not yet in size. Other independent species began to notice. The Kalari, a bird-like species that had struggled under Council restrictions for centuries, sent representatives to Earth. Other fringe species followed. Within a year, humanity had made formal alliances with 15 non-Council species. Some were calling it the Federation of Free Worlds. Jake Morrison watched all this happen from his position as commander of the Terran Defense Fleet. They had come so far in such a short time, but he knew the real test was coming. The Council would not accept this new balance of power without a fight. Admiral, Amy reported, long-range sensors detect a large Council fleet gathering at our border, 200 ships and counting. So they made their choice, Jake said quietly. Sound general alert. Recall all fleet units to defensive positions. Send a message to Earth. It is time to see if we are really ready for this. The peaceful expansion was over. The Council was coming with an army. Humanity would have to prove they had truly earned their place among the stars. The real test was about to begin. Part 4 Admiral Jake Morrison watched the tactical display as 200 Council warships entered what humanity now claimed as their space. The Federation fleet, with just under 1,000 ships, moved into defensive positions across 3 key systems. They are trying to scare us with numbers, said Commander Amy Phillips. Classic Council strategy. Show overwhelming force to make us surrender without fighting. They are about to learn that numbers do not beat quality anymore, Jake replied. He opened a channel to all fleet commanders. All ships, this is Morrison. Do not fire unless they fire first. Our goal is to show strength, not cause a massacre. But if they start shooting, hit them with everything we have. The Council fleet stopped at the edge of the Arcturus system, where the Federation had built a major shipyard. A communication request came through from the lead vessel. Counselor Thexnar appeared on screen. His crystal body pulsed with aggressive red colors. Admiral Morrison, the Council has voted to enforce sanctions against human territorial claims. You have 48 hours to evacuate all settlements in disputed systems or face military action. Counselor, every system we occupy was unclaimed according to Council records, Jake responded calmly. We violated no treaties because we are not bound by your treaties anymore. Your threats mean nothing. We have 200 warships. You have a fraction of that number. Your technology, while concerning, cannot overcome such odds. Jake smiled slightly. Counselor, let me show you something before this gets worse. He sent coordinates to an uninhabited moon in the system. Tactical single shot, minimal power. The Infinity's main weapon fired. The quantum phase beam hit the moon. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then the entire moon simply stopped existing. It did not explode or break apart. It was just erased as if it had never been there. The Council fleet detected what happened. Jake could imagine the panic spreading through their command ships. That was at 1/10 power, Jake said quietly. Our ships can all do that. Every single one. Now imagine 1,000 ships firing at the same time. Do you really want to test whether your numbers matter? Thexnar's colors flickered uncertainly. You would start a war over territorial pride? No, but I will finish one if you start it. Withdraw your fleet. Acknowledge our sovereignty. Then we can talk like civilized beings. Push forward, and you will learn why humanity was always too dangerous for your comfortable council. The standoff lasted for 3 hours. Jake could see the council fleet commanders talking to each other, probably waiting for orders from the full council. Finally, Thexnar appeared again. The council requests a formal diplomatic summit. Neutral territory. Next month. Accepted, Jake replied. But your fleet leaves now. The council ship slowly withdrew. Jake felt the tension on his bridge ease. They had won the first confrontation. But he knew this was far from over. On Earth, President Daniel Cooper gathered his advisors to prepare for the summit. They will propose restrictions, predicted Ambassador Lisa Hayes. Limits on our expansion, oversight on our technology, everything they can think of to keep their position. And we will reject it all, Cooper replied. But we need to offer something they want. Something that makes peace more attractive than war. Dr. Helen Price spoke up. We could share some medical technology, not the full Forerunner knowledge, but enough to improve their lifespans and cure diseases. It would show goodwill without giving up our strategic advantage. They will see it as a bribe, said Secretary of Defense Greg Palmer. They will see it as leverage, Hayes corrected. Something they will want to keep getting. It gives them a reason to keep us happy. Cooper nodded. Do it. Helen, prepare a medical technology package. Something impressive but not revolutionary. Greg, what is our military status? We are ready for full-scale war if necessary, Palmer reported. Our shipyards are building vessels faster than the Council can believe. We also finished 3 orbital defense platforms around Earth. Each one can destroy a Dreadnought-class ship. If they come for Earth itself, they will pay a price they cannot afford. The summit was held on Concordia Station, an ancient neutral facility that had hosted negotiations for 1,000 years. President Cooper led the human delegation with Ambassador Hayes, Admiral Morrison, and Dr. Price. The council chamber was packed. 47 species, each represented by their highest officials. The tension was thick as Cooper took his position at the speaking platform. Members of the Galactic Council, Cooper began. 5 years ago you expelled humanity for being too aggressive, too violent, too dangerous for your peaceful civilization. You were probably right. We are dangerous to those who would suppress us, exploit us, or deny us our rightful place among the stars. Murmurs spread through the chamber, but Cooper continued. But we are not here to threaten you. We are here to propose a new relationship, one based on mutual respect rather than hierarchy, one where technological advancement is shared rather than hoarded, one where multiple powers can exist without one dominating the others. Counselor Valketh of the Draken Empire spoke. Nice words, but you destroyed a moon in your demonstration. You have technology that could devastate our worlds. Why should we trust you? Because we showed restraint, Jake Morrison answered. We could have destroyed your fleet at Arcturus. We did not. We could have claimed dozens more systems while you debated. We did not. We want trade, cooperation, and peaceful expansion, but we will not accept being controlled. Speaker Zixthan's energy form pulsed thoughtfully. What do you propose? Cooper activated a holographic display. First, recognition of human sovereignty over our settled systems. 37 planets, 14 moons, and associated space. Second, full trading rights across Council space. Third, a mutual defense pact. We will help defend Council worlds from external threats, and you will do the same for us. And in return, asked Thexnar suspiciously. We share our medical technology, Dr. Price announced, causing surprised reactions throughout the chamber. The package includes treatments for 73 diseases that affect Council species, life extension therapies, regenerative medicine. We are offering to improve the lives of trillions of beings across the galaxy. The chamber erupted in discussion. The medical technology alone was worth more than a dozen star systems. This is generous, Valketh admitted. Suspiciously so. We are proving that humanity has evolved beyond what you judged us to be, Hayes said. We can be partners, not enemies. But this offer expires. You have 1 week to decide. Over the following days, Council factions argued fiercely. Some species, especially those who had suffered under Council restrictions, wanted to accept the human proposal. Others, particularly the Valorians and Krell who had led the expulsion vote, resisted any deal that made human power legitimate. The deciding vote came from an unexpected source. The Kalari representatives stood, their feathers ruffling with emotion. For 500 years, my people followed council orders. We were told our technology was too dangerous, our expansion too aggressive, our culture too foreign. The council kept us small and dependent. Now humanity offers what the council never has: respect and partnership. I vote to accept the human proposal. And I announce that the Kalari sovereignty will join the Federation of Free Worlds regardless of this vote. 3 other species immediately said the same. Suddenly, the council faced not just losing face but losing members. The political calculation changed dramatically. When the vote was finally called, the human proposal passed by a narrow margin. The Galactic Council and the Terran Federation would exist as separate but equal powers, with formal diplomatic and trade relations. As Cooper signed the treaty, he thought about how far humanity had come. 5 years ago, they were expelled in disgrace. Now they stood as equals, even as rivals, to an organization that had dominated the galaxy for thousands of years. "Do you think this will last?" Hayes asked him privately. "Not forever," Cooper admitted, "but long enough for us to keep growing. Long enough for more species to join us. Long enough for the old order to realize that change cannot be stopped." He looked at the assembled council members, seeing fear, respect, and grudging admiration. Humanity had been tested by fire and emerged stronger. Whatever came next, they would face it from a position of strength. The age of human power had truly begun. Part 5. 10 years after the council threw them out, the galaxy looked completely different. Admiral Jake Morrison, now in his late 50s but looking decades younger thanks to Forerunner medical technology, stood on the observation deck of Nexus Station. This was humanity's greatest achievement. The station did not orbit any planet. Instead, it hung at a gravity point between 5 star systems. It was a massive structure that served as both a trading hub and diplomatic center. 43 species had embassies here, including 12 that had left the Galactic Council to join the Federation of Free Worlds. "Hard to believe we built this in just 3 years," said Admiral Nicole Grant. She now commanded the Federation's 2nd Fleet. "The Forerunner manufacturing technology made it possible," Jake replied. "But it took human vision to imagine it. This place represents everything the Council feared, a rival power center that proves their way is not the only way." They watched as ships from dozens of species docked at the station, Kalari traders unloading exotic goods, Draken diplomats arriving for negotiations, human colony ships refueling for trips to new settlements, even a few Council species ships, their governments having quietly started back-channel trade despite the official coolness between the Federation and the Council. "Ambassador Hayes wants to see you," Nicole said. "Something about the latest Council development." In her office overlooking the station's central plaza, Lisa Hayes looked more energized than Jake had seen her in years. "The Valorians just made an official request," she announced immediately. "They want to buy the full medical technology package." Jake raised an eyebrow. "The species that led the charge to expel us now wants our help?" "Their leadership is dying," Hayes explained. "Crystalline degradation, a condition that affects them after about 200 years. We have treatments that could extend their lifespans by centuries. They are desperate enough to swallow their pride. And if we refuse, their government could collapse within a generation. New leadership would probably be more friendly to Federation ideas." Hayes paused. "But refusing them would make us exactly what they accused us of being. Ruthless and aggressive." Jake thought about this. "Sell them the technology, but for a price. We want access to Valorian quantum lattice manufacturing techniques. We have been trying to understand that for years. They will see it as blackmail. They will see it as trade, fair exchange between powers. If they want to be treated as equals, they need to act like it." Within a month, the Valorians agreed to the terms. The exchange of technology marked a turning point. For the first time, the old Council powers had openly admitted they needed something humanity had. On Earth, President Daniel Cooper, now in his 2nd decade of leadership, spoke to the United World Assembly from the same chamber where the Independence Protocol had been passed. "My friends, today I announce my retirement from political life. It is time for new leadership to guide humanity's continued growth." The announcement shocked many, but Cooper had been planning this for months. Under Federation law, he could potentially remain president for another century thanks to life extension treatments. But he believed in the democratic principles that had built human civilization. The election that followed was historic. Governor Patrick Miller of the Titan Colony, became Earth's first off-world president. His running mate, Senator Michelle Brooks from the Mars Congressional District, brought a perspective shaped by growing up under council occupation before the expulsion. "We are the generation that will cement humanity's place in the galaxy," Miller declared in his inaugural address. "Not through conquest, but through excellence. Not through domination, but through cooperation. We will continue reaching out to species who seek freedom and partnership. The Federation's strength comes not from forcing others to join us, but from making them want to." The new administration faced immediate challenges. The Krell Collective, still angry about humanity's rise, had been making aggressive moves against smaller species along the Federation border. When they attacked a Kalari colony world, killing thousands, the Federation had to decide how to respond. President Miller gathered his Security Council. Admiral Morrison presented the military options. "We can deploy the Third Fleet to push the Krell back. Show them that attacking Federation members has consequences, or we can try diplomatic channels to resolve this through negotiation. The Krell respect strength," noted Vice President Brooks. "Diplomacy without the real threat of force will be seen as weakness." Dr. Helen Price, now serving as the Federation's chief science advisor, offered another view. "The Krell attacked because they face an energy crisis. Their home system star is becoming unstable. They need to find new resources, and they chose expansion through force. Then we offer them an alternative," Miller decided. "We will help them solve their energy crisis using our technology. But the price is a formal peace treaty and recognition of Federation sovereignty." Admiral Morrison, "Deploy the fleet to protect the Kalari while we make the offer. Make it clear we prefer cooperation, but will not hesitate to defend our allies." The strategy worked. Faced with a superior military force but offered a solution to their crisis that saved face. The Krell agreed to negotiations. Within 3 months they had signed a comprehensive treaty and accepted Federation aid in stabilizing their star. It was a defining moment. Proof that the Federation could be both strong and generous, willing to help even those who had opposed them. As the Federation continued to grow, now including over 30 species and 300 settled worlds, the Galactic Council found itself increasingly pushed to the sidelines. Trade routes shifted to flow through Federation space. Scientific advances came from human-led research groups. Even the Council's military superiority had disappeared as more species adopted Federation technology. On Concordia Station, Speaker Zix then called an unprecedented session. For the first time in the Council's 2,000-year history, they would vote on dissolving the organization. "The galaxy has changed." Zix then addressed the assembled representatives. "The Council was built to maintain peace through a balance of power. That balance no longer exists. Some of our members have left to join the Federation. Others maintain secret agreements with humanity. We have a choice. Continue as we are, becoming increasingly irrelevant, or transform into something new." Councillor Thexanar, his crystal body now showing blue-green colors of thought rather than angry reds, spoke. "The humans proved something we refuse to see. Progress cannot be controlled. It can only be guided. We tried to freeze the galaxy in place, and we nearly started a war because of it. The vote was not to dissolve the Council, but to transform it." The Galactic Council became the Galactic Assembly, an organization where all member species had equal votes regardless of military or technological power. The Federation was invited to join as a founding member of the reformed body. President Miller accepted, but with conditions. "We join as partners, not subjects. The Assembly will have no authority to restrict technological development or limit territorial expansion. Its role will be mediation, coordination, and mutual defense, not control." The other species agreed. The age of hierarchical control was over. Jake Morrison attended the ceremony marking the transition. He stood beside Ambassador Hayes, both of them watching as the symbols of the old council were removed and replaced with those of the new assembly. "We did it," Hayes said quietly. "We changed the galaxy." "We survived," Jake corrected. "And we showed everyone else that survival does not require submission. That is the real victory." Across the galaxy, humanity's influence continued to spread, not through force but through the example they set. Species that had been suppressed under the old order found new confidence. Trade flourished. Scientific cooperation produced breakthroughs that benefited everyone, and while conflict still happened, Mechanisms now existed to resolve them peacefully. In the old Titan shipyards, now expanded into the largest construction facility in known space, the next generation of vessels took shape. Not weapons of war, but exploration ships designed to push beyond the boundaries of charted space. Captain Amy Phillips, promoted to lead the new Exploration Command, reviewed the mission profiles for her flagship, the Endeavour. Their 5-year mission would take them to the Galactic Rim, searching for new civilizations and expanding humanity's understanding of the universe. "We are really doing it," she said to her assembled crew. "Everything our ancestors dreamed of when they first looked at the stars. Not conquering the galaxy, but joining it. Not dominating others, but inspiring them. This is what we were meant to do." As the Endeavour left on its mission, it carried with it the hopes of billions. Humanity had been cast out, called too dangerous and too aggressive for the peaceful galaxy. In response, they had built an empire. Not of conquest, but of opportunity. Not of domination, but of cooperation. They had proven that strength and generosity were not opposites. That ambition and ethics could exist together. That a species could climb from rejection to leadership without becoming the oppressors they had once been judged to be. Back on Earth, former President Cooper walked through the streets of Geneva, anonymous among the crowds. He had led humanity through its darkest moment and into its brightest age. Now he was content to be just